me see. I think the volume's off on that. We need to start recording Johnny's prayers with that too.
We know.
Yeah, those are,
We love him.
yeah. All right, guys. So we got a little bit extra time. It's gonna help us power through this. We have 4 chapters, and we're gonna be finishing out of Genesis. When we're in chapter 47, some of it we'll read all of it together, and then other parts we're gonna kind of like read parts of it together. Okay. So let's just start with reading, and then we'll pick up from there. Let's start with. Do you guys like doing the 5 verses? 5 verse. Okay. So let's do that. Paper, rock, scissors. Let's start this way.
Ah.
You gonna be ready?
No, because all the names.
Okay, let's start this way.
Wait,
It's not names yet.
there's no names yet. I got it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Bravery is our first topic.
Okay, Jacob blesses Pharaoh.
Oh, wait, one second. And remember, if you don't want to read, just tap the person next to you or just say pass. Okay, 47, 1 through 5.
Yes. Then Joseph went to see Pharaoh and told him, "My father and my brothers have arrived from the land of Canaan. They have come with all their flocks and herds and possessions, and they are now in the region of Goshen." Joseph took 5 of his brothers with him and presented them to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh asked the brothers, "What is your occupation?" They replied, "We, your servants, are shepherds, just like our ancestors. We have come to live here in Egypt for a while, for there is no pasture for our flocks in Canaan. The famine is very severe there, so please we request permission to live in the region of Goshen." Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Now that your father and brothers have joined you here,
And the land of Egypt is before you. Settle your father and your brothers in the best part of the land. Let them live in Goshen, and if you know of any of them among with special ability, put them in charge of my own livestock." Then Joseph brought his father Jacob in and presented him before Pharaoh. After Jacob blessed Pharaoh, Pharaoh asked him, "How old are you?" And Jacob said to Pharaoh, "The years of my pilgrimage are 130. My years have been few and difficult, and they do not equal the years of the pilgrimage of my fathers." Then Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from his presence.
So Joseph settled his father and his brothers in Egypt, gave them property in the best part of the land, the district of Ramses, as Pharaoh directed. Joseph also provided his father and his brothers and all his father's household with food, according to the number of their children. There was no food, however, in the whole region because the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. Joseph collected all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan in payment for the grain they were buying, and he brought it to Pharaoh's palace. When the money of the people of Egypt and Canaan was gone, all Egypt came to Joseph and said, "Give us food. Why should we die before your eyes? Our money is all gone."
Joseph replied, "Since your money is gone, bring me your livestock. I will give you food in exchange for your livestock." So they brought their livestock to Joseph in exchange for food, in exchange for their horses, flocks of sheep, goats, herds of cattle, and donkeys. Joseph provided them with food for another year. But that year ended, and the next year came again and said, "We cannot hide the truth from you, my lord. Our money is gone, and all our livestock and cattle are yours. We have nothing left to give but our bodies and our land. Why should we die before your very eyes? Buy us and our land in exchange for food. We offer you our land and ourselves as slaves for Pharaoh. Just give us grain so we may live and not die, and so the land does not become empty and desolate."
And then one more.
Oh, one more, sorry.
Or is it? Yeah, one
yeah,
more,
it's
I
one
think.
more.
Okay. So Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. All the Egyptians sold him their fields because the famine was so severe, and soon all the lands belonged to the Pharaoh.
And Joseph reduced the people to servitude from one end of Egypt to another. However, he did not buy the land of the priests because they received a regular allotment from Pharaoh and had food enough from the allotment Pharaoh gave to them. That is why they did not sell their land. Joseph said to the people, "Now that I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh, here is seed for you so you can plant the ground. But when the crop comes in, give a fifth of it to Pharaoh. The other four-fifths you may keep as seed for the field and as food for yourselves and your household and your children. You have saved our lives," they said. "May we find favor in the eyes of our Lord. We will be in bondage to Pharaoh."
Joseph then issued a decree still in effect in the land of Egypt that Pharaoh should receive 1/5 of all the crops grown on his land. Only the land belonging to the priests was not given to Pharaoh. Meanwhile, the gospel of Israel settled in the region of Goshen in Egypt. There they acquired property and they were fruitful and their population grew rapidly. Jacob lived for 17 years after his arrival in Egypt, so he lived 147 years in all. As the time of his death drew near, Jacob called for his son Joseph and said to him, "Please do me this favor, put your hand under my thigh and swear that you will treat me with unfailing love by honoring this last request. Do not bury me in Egypt. When I die, please take my body out of Egypt and bury me with my ancestors." So Joseph promised, "I will do as you ask."
And he said, "Swear to me." And he swore to him. Then Israel bowed himself on the head of his bed. After this, Joseph was told,
Oh, wait. Let's stop right there. You're still in,
yes.
yeah. Okay. Just making sure. But you'll pick up in 48, 1 through 5. Okay. So, this was actually kind of interesting. I had to go through some other sources to get some of these insights and stuff like that. Let me ask you this. Do you guys have any questions about what you read? I'm changing it up just a little bit. Was there anything that didn't make a little bit of sense to you or you had a question about?
So when this is being told by Moses
Yes.
to the Hebrews at the time, and presumably it's being told chronologically.
Right.
And the reason I say that is that Joseph made the people slaves for Pharaoh. So in verse 20 or verse 21.
Yeah.
And then in Exodus 21, that's where the rules for slaves are given by God.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I guess my question is Joseph at this point doesn't have the rules from God for Hebrew slaves.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
so the rules would then be implied as to Egyptian slavery.
Exactly.
Or imputed on them Egyptian slavery.
Yeah. So following the timeline, and this is real important, is you have Joseph is living his life, all right? And we're actually going to get into this whole thing of what he does. So he's going to enact something that's going to be enforced on the Egyptian people, slavery, all right? Not a new concept, but he's going to enact it for them. And then later on down the line, 400 plus years later, you are going to have Moses that's going to get information from God as to how they're going to conduct things when it deals with slavery. So does that make sense? Does that kind of answer that? Yeah. So he doesn't have this information that Moses is going to get later. He has only culture and the wisdom that God's given him to be able to understand what's going on.
Egyptian rules for slavery.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So whatever the law of the land is at that time, yeah. And he would be able to preside over what those rules are because everything's given to him under his control. Yeah, good question. Anybody else got anything? They got a little bit of questions, confusions before we start launching into this? Because I had some questions. How many guys does Joseph pick? 5. Why did he pick 5? That was my question. I was like, why did he pick 5? That was weird. Very, very, very interesting observation somebody gave that I think is the right answer. I never honestly would have thought it until until I did the research into it and I heard it and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So, anybody want to take a shot?
Shots!
You're my favorite.
Christy's taking you home.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's going
So
to be.
I don't know how many of y'all want
Well,
sopapilla,
if we
so
run out and they want more, I'll do another one.
Yeah.
'Cause we don't wanna leave.
text me or anything.
We
I got
might
you
need
right here.
napkins.
Or
Yeah.
napkins, definitely.
Sure,
Definitely.
yes.
And just so everybody knows, we have the best waitress
Yes.
Ever.
today.
Yep.
Hey!
All right. This is great.
She is.
All right, so here's something that's really. So Joseph chooses 5. He doesn't choose all. How many brothers? 11. He doesn't choose all 11. He only chooses 5, right? Which 5 do you think he took?
The oldest.
Huh?
The oldest.
Okay, the oldest. And why do you think he's taking the oldest?
I would guess it's for defensive purposes. I mean, you're really traveling.
Okay.
So
And now, let me add a little bit of spice to that.
okay.
Here you go.
Oh, okay. I was trying not to go.
Boom. So be it. What is Joseph's goal right now? That's the important question to ask here. What is Joseph's goal with Pharaoh? Now, look back to the end of the chapter in 46 to get that answer.
What was the question?
And this is actually an important thing. That's why I'm stopping on it. What is Joseph's goal when he brings the 5 brothers? Why does he choose the 5? What's his goal? And if you know what his goal is, then you're going to know who he possibly is choosing for this.
For them to be allowed to settle in Goshen?
Okay. Really good point. You want to say it one more time?
For them to be allowed to settle?
For them to be allowed to settle in Goshen. Okay, why is he asking for that?
Goshen's prime property.
Okay, Goshen's prime property. It's really important. What else?
And they don't like the shepherds.
Okay, they don't like the shepherds. And why is that important? Now we're going to take all this information, we're going to put it together to make sense. So I'm just letting you guys gather.
Well, they had to get his permission to live there.
Okay, well, Joseph's over the whole land, right?
Right.
So he can pretty much do whatever he wants. So why is he presenting it to Pharaoh? Like, what's going on here? Like, what is his, and you guys have listed a couple of his motivations that are influence motivation, but if you're Joseph, and we kind of touched on this last week, and again, this is actually really important, so we do need to take a moment to lock in on this, because I'll say this is how important this is. This is going to affect all the way up until the time of Christ. That's how important this is.
Well, how did we figure out who he took?
Well, you don't have to. You just have to figure out why. What was his motivation? What's his goal? So go to the end of 46 and see what his intention is with the brothers.
Well,
what
yeah,
he's telling them.
They're the ones that were in Egypt with him,
Okay.
technically. When
But
he
he's-
came to get food.
Right, but he's bringing his family in, right, into the land?
Because he knows their character.
The Egyptians despise shepherds, so he doesn't want them
Uh-huh.
there with them.
Okay, so if he doesn't want them there, why didn't he say, hey, tell him you're craftsmen, tell him you're this, tell him you're that? Why does he say, tell him you're shepherds? Because they despise shepherds.
So that Pharaoh would let them stay away from the rest of the Egyptians.
Okay, why is that important?
They're not a
So
threat
that
to
they,
him.
yeah.
To multiply.
Okay, they're not a threat, they can
And-
multiply.
And because they can work for Pharaoh, right?
Okay, yes. You actually touched on it too. Do you remember what you said?
Yeah, he knows that they've changed. Basically, God's establishing, or through Joseph, a nation that's separate. Ergo, they've been tested in the sense of like their character, whether or not they changed, and it sets the precedence for the nation of Israel through separation of them from everyone else, and he's aware of how they've changed so that they can set that foundation.
Okay. the key word that Mo mentioned and that Chrissy was alluding to, and other that you guys are saying is separation. All right. Now it's going to be really cool later on when we get to see what God was doing, because a lot of this is going to be, again, we're living in the moment with Him. All right. So when Joseph's doing this, he has a plan. So he already, the man has foresight. He already knows when my family comes, and they will eventually come, I know where I'm going to set them up. Remember why he chose Goshen?
It's fertile.
It was on the edge.
It was very fertile, and
It was on the edge of
yeah. So closer to what?
the promised land.
Yeah. So if Egypt is here, Promised Land is here, Goshen is on the very edge tip of Egypt's control, right? It's also the most fertile part of the land, so it's going to get the water, the runoff from the water, and the floodplain. It's going to get really good land, but it's going to be the part of Egypt that's closest to the Promised Land. All right, so that's why he's saying, I'm going to put you guys here, and that's the physical strategy. But then he brings in the other part, which is shepherds are revolting, and they will naturally want to keep you away. So identity-wise, you're going to identify yourselves as shepherds. And now, I don't know if he had the foresight to understand multiplication, but he definitely knew that he had seen enough with the Egyptian culture. He knew enough about his brothers to say, if they're too close to a Sodom and Gomorrah type of option, they could start to assimilate. You actually will see it when the brothers are coming in and you look at the genealogies. Like, one of them actually has a Canaanite wife. And we already know about Judah's foray into with the Canaanites. So they can get drawn over. So by doing this, he's offering them the ability to grow and flourish. And so it's kind of like reverse psychology. When you want somebody to do something, you kind of do the opposite. So they react the way to give you actually what you really want. He's doing that right now with Pharaoh, with the Egyptians. So again, what is his goal? Separation. So if he's taking his brothers and he's picking 5 out to go stand before Pharaoh, right? And he's saying, hey, I got a land picked out for them and this and that. Who is he picking?
Shepherds.
Okay, they're all shepherds, but that's a really good point. Because he will say, tell them you're shepherds, right?
The ones he knows that will do what he asks.
Okay, that's a good one.
More or less, yeah.
But you're Pharaoh. All right, so this was the part. I'm just giving you guys a chance. I'm gonna let it sink in, and then what happened with me, I'll share that with you. Because I didn't understand this at first until the guy brought it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. He's picking, and most likely this is what's happening, he's picking the least favorable and the weakest. Because he wants Pharaoh to see how undesirable it is to have his family near his family. How much he doesn't want Pharaoh to look at them as being a threat. If he brought a bunch of Joseph's, bright, good-looking, strong, strapping, smart, intelligent,
He might
charismatic,
keep them for himself.
he may want to say, no, man, I need you guys here in my court. I need a bunch of Josephs. Imagine how great the land would be if you'll take care of this and you'll take care of that. He'll try to assimilate them, even though he'll overrule Joseph's ruling and say, no, bring them in because that's going to make me stronger, right? In the sense, he would do it out of a sense of respect for Joseph, but that's not what Joseph wants. Joseph wants to be able to take the best from the moment, but to keep the separation. So what do you guys think about that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What a weird thing to take away from just 5 brothers being chosen. But you see how important this is, separation? I can't stress how important this is going forward. Separation to secure identity is going to be, this is going to go all the way to the time of Christ as an essential component to the nation. Yeah. So take that into mind as he's bringing them up. And then what's going to happen is Pharaoh's going to actually say something to kind of confirm this, and it's going to happen. Again, slipped my mind. I didn't catch it. But he says, what occupations? And they said to Pharaoh, your servants are shepherds. And he looks at this lot, dim-eyed, old, little bit of weakness, maybe the narrow shoulder guy or whatever, right? And then he goes, of course you are. He's sad, sorry. Man, I got the best when I got Joseph. That's your family, right? But then he says this. Then Pharaoh says, well, they say, we have come to sojourn. So, we have come to sojourn in the land, yada, yada, yada. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, all right, so they're talking to Pharaoh. Pharaoh doesn't even address them. He looks right past him and looks at Joseph and says, settle them in Goshen. Whatever they are, your family, I got you. You put your family over there, doesn't even address them. And then he said, the land of Egypt is at your disposal. Settle your father and your brothers in the best of the land. Let them live in the land of Goshen. Here it is to Joseph. And if you know of any capable men among them, put them in charge of my livestock. You see it? See he threw some shade out there. Because this lot ain't capable. So if you actually know of any capable men, put them in charge of my livestock, right? I'm going to entrust them, but not these guys. So a little bit of shade, a little bit of this. Joseph knew what he was doing. The most important part of this entire thing is understanding the need for separation to happen. Now, personally, let's dive into why is separation so important for them. I've given some of it, but going into it, why is being separate going to be so important?
Maintain their identity.
Yeah. Who wants to unpack that? Identity. Because what's our identity right now?
What's their identity?
Yeah. What's our identity?
Right now they're just family, but when they leave, they're gonna be a nation, so they can't be like half Egyptian nation.
Yes. So we got to keep purity of the family dynamic, right? Purity of family bloodline. So they're saying, let's keep it as tight as possible. So and what are some of the things that will come into wanting to infiltrate that?
Multiple gods.
Okay, multiple gods.
Because to keep it alive down the line, you need the idea that there is God and Messiah will come, and the surrounding nations they're all polytheistic.
Yes.
They're multiple gods, and they'll just drown out the one God concept.
Yes, exactly. So by assimilating, intermarrying, you also are taking on their other ideas and belief systems, right? You're watering down the idea. That's why later on, God is going to give them a path to being able to bring foreigners into their midst. But to do that, he's saying you have to assimilate to our culture. You have to come to us. We're not going to come to you, because they had to lock in what they have and what they're protecting. Now, we won't dive into this too much, but when we get to Exodus and we talk about the beginning of Exodus, we're going to come back to this and we're going to look at how essential and important this was. So just kind of keep that locked in. Anybody got any questions before we move on to Jacob's address with?
I was a little bit curious. Goshen is not, I mean, if shepherds, that's already a mark against them. And I understand now Joseph's suggesting Goshen.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a part of me going, is Pharaoh stupid? Because Goshen is productive, healthy, good land.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a great deal into comparison with other parts of Egypt. Water, fertile land.
Anybody want to take a
It
shot?
almost seemed too easy.
Why do you think Pharaoh allowed this? It's a really good question.
He would seem desperate at that moment because now he's enslaved his people, and they just have nothing at all. So I would think that.
Well, this is just before the enslavement.
But the famine is now in
Year 2.
Year 2 of the famine. So it seemed like he just needs something to produce to keep the people before they overthrow him. That's what I would guess, that he just that's why when you said, find more men like you, like find more men like you to produce more like you, because we're starving right now.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
I think he also needs to keep Joseph. So he doesn't want him to leave because he needs him to lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, to lead him through this whole process. The other thing, and look, I could be wrong on this. I think, though, just like today, most people, especially when you're in a time of crisis, you want to be closest towards the source of security. So they actually are wanting to be as close to the city as possible, right? So they're not really wanting to live away. That's not where the nightlife is. Whatever Egyptian nightlife was like back then, that's not where the good times were happening, right? That's you're out there in the it's good land, but you're still in the wild, right? So yeah, you're in the sticks. So it's like not everybody wanted to kind of be out there. So when Joseph was picking the spot, he's like, well, we're already shepherds. We sojourn anyway. We don't live in the cities. This is an easy one for us. So we actually found the perfect little nook for them to be settled into. But I think a lot of it is kind of the desire of where do you actually want to live? For security, for entertainment, you probably don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere or the sticks away from the cities and all that stuff. That's my best guess. Yeah. What did you guys learn about Jacob from what he shared with Pharaoh?
He said,
His age.
Okay, you know his age is 130.
yeah, and his life had been a pain, a challenge.
Okay. What do you guys think about that? He says, my days have been evil.
Yeah.
Well, that's my version. I don't know what yours says, but we're of great distress. Would you agree? Do you think he's being a Debbie Downer, or do you think he's just being honest?
He was mourning his son all those years. So
Right.
It was a downer.
I think he was being honest.
So he was mourning his son for 20 years. Favorite son. What else? What had happened just before? They're living in the land, everything's good, but before they got there.
Working for Laban.
Okay, all those years working with Laban, the strife and conflict that came from that. What happened after Laban? We're kind of sandwiching it. Brother? Esau, right? Was that a friendly, fun little get-together he was looking forward to?
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Right? So there's that stress. And then we're missing the other one.
Wrestling with God.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he had to wrestle with God before he meets Esau. And then the other one? The one that haunts him, it seems like. 2 sons.
Oh, the killing of all the people in
Shechem.
Dinah?
made him
Yeah. Dinah's raped. His sons usurping him and going around him and slaughtering an entire village and taking everything that they have. Ruining his reputation in Canaan, right? Causing him all that stress. He's like, I've gone from one, ever since my mom walked into my life and said, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna trick your father. His life was a constant struggle. And so when he's standing there before Pharaoh, he doesn't pull any punches. He goes, my years are going to be fewer and shorter than my father's. So he already is feeling that death is near. And then he's saying, and it has not been an easy life, right? So he's just being honest with Pharaoh. But we're learning something about Jacob here too. And we're going to learn something about him at the end. How does Pharaoh react?
Generously.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was something about Jacob that just made, later on in life, the brothers reunited around him, around his grief. Pharaoh looks on him with favor after hearing his story. Because remember, he goes, old man, how many years are you? Like, he's amazed at, like, what he's seeing here. As, like, how many years have you had? Maybe Jacob looked a lot older than what he was because of everything he's been through. But he gets that favor and then what does he do? And again, culturally, we don't understand it, but it was kind of funny thing that happened. What does Jacob do for Pharaoh? He blesses him. What does Pharaoh allow to happen? The blessing to happen. And again, a blessing is something that you allow somebody that is above you or that you greatly respect to happen. So for that to happen, Pharaoh had to have acknowledged something about Jacob that was like, man, there's something that's going on with you that's I respect. And then for Jacob to have the audacity, a shepherd, to go in and say, I'm going to bless Pharaoh, the most powerful man in the world. The mindset, and we're going to see this a little bit here, Jacob has changed from the cunning, striving, manipulative guy that he was, that was always kind of like fighting God, to being somebody that's so strong in his security that he sees his role because of his favor with God, that he can actually bless the greatest man or the strongest and most powerful ruler in the world, and doesn't even blink an eye at it. So I just thought that was really interesting. Little things that you learn.
I think in my footnotes,
Yeah.
that might be really interesting. I don't know if it's true, I'd have to do research on it, but I found in my footnotes saying that the Pharaoh may have been sympathetic to shepherds, for he was probably descended from the nomadic Hyksos line. So he might have been from like Egyptian shepherds, basically. Maybe.
That's interesting.
Allegedly.
That's very interesting. Yeah, and if that would, it would be coming a full circle.
Yeah, that would make sense.
So what is, now this is the part, I wanted to get this from you guys. What do you think about how Joseph handled the famine situation after this? So he settles his family in the land, all right? He gives them everything that they need. That's in 46. He gives them everything that they need to provide for them and their little ones. Now, why is that important? Did he give them?
They won't have to go back to ask for more.
Well, actually, did he give? So it's basically an allotment. So basically, like every time it comes in time to get portioned out, I'm going to give you enough for you and your little ones to get by. Does he give them a black card and say, spend as much as you want?
Doesn't sound like
No. He gives them enough to get to survive and to flourish. What do they have to pay for that?
Their crops.
Nothing. It never mentions that they have to make any type of payment, that they're part of the tax system. But also at the same time, he's not saying, he's not putting them in harm's way of saying, buy whatever you want, go get Lamborghinis with all the wheat that you have type of thing, drive the best camels. He's saying, you guys are going to have enough to get by in the land, flourish, all right? But not enough to cause enmity between you and the Egyptians, because what's going to happen between the Egyptians and Pharaoh?
The Egyptians want to eat, but they start running out of how to buy the food, so they even give up their land, their livestock, and then they end up giving their bodies.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to give up everything to just survive and get by. And the Hebrews are going to not have to pay that type of tax, right? So he's given them enough to get by, but not enough to cause strife of saying, how come they're just sitting on all this wealth and all this stuff, yada, 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 and we have barely anything?
I'm not trying to poke holes here.
Go for it.
But it just provokes thought that what year are they in the famine?
They're still in the second year.
And he's telling them to go and plant, and the land is fertile, but I mean, like, if they're in the middle of a famine, and he's telling them to go, be fruitful and prosperous, how could it be that if they're in the middle of a famine, they could actually make that happen?
So you still do what you can. Like, things are still going to produce in a famine. You still have waterway, right? You still have some type of irrigation, but your flood system is not going to allow a lot of water to flow out, and you're not going to have a lot of rain to produce all the crops. So you're going to have some cycle of crops. You're going to have some goodness that could happen, but you're not going to have the production to keep up with the demand. That from what I saw.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It was my best answer to
I
that.
accept your answer, sir.
You are.
Arigato. In a Mexican restaurant.
That's how we roll.
So, as he's, and we'll kind of break down the psychology of this, and then we'll move on. How do you guys feel about what Joseph enacts? How do you feel like what he does with the Egyptian people?
Seems a little bit heartless.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because they pay all their money, and then
Yeah.
he's like, now what do you got?
Mhm.
And they're like, here's all of our animals. And he's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And they're like, how about our land? And we'll be your slaves. And he's like, fine, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So it seems, I mean, I had even written that a long time ago in the side of my Bible. Like, it just seems a little mean.
Yeah.
I don't know, that he's just like, not freely give, not like, I know you all are starving.
Yeah.
So let me help you out. It's just like, no, we have the food, but you gotta keep paying for it somehow.
Yeah.
That's a good observation.
Yeah. So he's still allowing
I'm gonna
commerce.
change my answer. I thought it was fair because they could have died.
That's the catch-22.
6 one, half a dozen the other. In the midst of all of it, I'm going, Pharaoh. I won't say that. But,
Oh, you gotta say it now.
It might go on a
not
t-shirt.
this one.
Pause.
No, I mean, Pharaoh, I get importance, everything that he is, but he just keeps, every time something happens, he comes out smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
Every time. And doing nothing.
Yeah.
Because he said, Joseph, take care of it.
What do you call that?
Delegation?
Yeah, what do you call that?
Good dude, I got
My friend.
Sounds like wisdom. If you got a
It
smart guy
does,
that
when
knows
you-
what he's doing,
I mean-
why get in his way?
He's done that from the get-go.
Exactly.
And it's like, why should I mess with this?
Again, you're going to compare this Pharaoh with the other one we're going to deal with in the next book. There's wisdom in this Pharaoh. There's something he understands. Don't get in the way. Let it happen the way it's supposed to be happening. How do you feel about Joseph making slaves of the Egyptians or enacting I think it's like serfdom, voluntary serfdom.
Yeah, it is.
Right? They work the land. The only difference is that
They work the land,
whereas
but they don't own it.
right, but I think it, under the serfdom system, it was more like 80-20 for the landowner, not so he's actually kind of giving them the higher end of the deal instead of because before in real serfdom feudalism that man, I love it that I remember that. Thank you, Risk. The fact that he was able to enact that, but give them 80%. Usually feudalism was the other way, where they had just enough to get by, and the state prospered, right? Hence, one of the reasons you get the reaction they get, which is like, as a human, what do you want? Don't you just want a chance to hold it down? And the word went out. How long is the famine going to be?
7 years.
So they're like, we just got to keep holding on a little bit longer, right?
I guess, I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Why do you think God gave Pharaoh this dream and gave Joseph the ability to interpret it?
Why do you think so?
So that all of this would, God knew that this would take place, so God knew eventually that slavery would happen.
Yeah, so actually, thank you for bringing that up. Slavery is a part of the system. He didn't create slavery. Slavery is going back all the way. It's probably going to be one of the oldest professions right there with prostitution and farming. Like slavery is just there's our 21st century ideas, which are only, help me out here on the math, 120 years fresh, where slavery was ended in America.
Oh,
Actually, there was a state that still had slavery, and they didn't end slavery until 2013.
Which,
Oh, wow.
I forgot what state it was, but a state in.
So it's still
US.
legal to have slaves in that state,
It was until 2013.
but they just didn't do it.
yeah.
But still though,
Isn't that's why Juneteenth is celebrated, because that was the last state.
Supposed to be, yeah.
oh wow.
So the idea is slavery is, yeah, great. Pat yourself on the back. I patted myself on the back. Slavery is a old concept, and it was only very, very, very recently in human history that it actually has been frowned upon and abolished, right? So what he's doing is he's saying, here's the thing is, did he enforce anybody into slavery?
No, they volunteered.
Right. That's where it got complicated when I had a little bit of a kind of back and forth with some other theologians on the issue, was how is this different? And they said, well, it's like slavery, yes, but it's serfdom, yes, but it's voluntary. Whereas almost none of those things before were ever voluntary.
So slavery with extra steps.
Yeah. And also what's going to be really interesting later is we're going to look at slavery and what rules God's going to put in place with it going forward. And a lot of people are poo-pooing on the fact that slavery wasn't abolished at that moment, but God, it was going to take us all the way until 2013, or across the board. What is it? I'm trying now. My math is horrible. When did we win the Civil War? 65, 75, something. 1865. So all the way up until then, slavery was a part of our system and a part of what we do. So he's like, it's going to take that long for human race to finally start coming around that this is not supposed to be happening. So in the meantime, while human interactions are happening, he's going to set some things in place. But the Hebrews are actually going to allow voluntary enslavement, and it's going to provide a path of redemption. So that's another big thing that's coming up later. I just wanted to kind of bounce it around and just see what you guys thought about how Joseph was and putting them in the irony here of what he's doing to the Egyptian people, knowing what's going to come down the line, right? And the last question is, as the Egyptian people are having to divert themselves into slavery just to survive, what's happening to Jacob's family?
It says they're
They're
flourishing.
fruitful. Yeah.
Fruitful and flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
Increasing in number.
Yep. So in the middle of a famine, when everybody else is selling everything off, dying, and humanity's having to do this, what's God's people doing? Like this. And this is what happens. And that God would provide this option and this ability. Now, why do you think God's going to allow this to happen, this whole thing to happen?
Slavery.
Well, that's what's going to come. But why do you think this is happening here?
Promise.
But how many people entered the land?
70.
How do you multiply? You know how hard it is to multiply and survive and to flourish when you're constantly in poverty? When you have all the food, you have all the sustenance, you have all the things. You're giving your children and your ability, he's basically, God through Joseph has created an incubator for them to grow, all right? And again, we'll dive into this in Exodus and we'll kind of tear it apart and see what God was thinking in this whole process. But yeah.
Wouldn't this be compared to the same thing as the mark of the beast? You're gonna have to make some hard choices. Are you gonna accept it or are you gonna
Yeah.
die?
Yes. 100%. Yeah. And that's where we're gonna have to get to the point where we have to understand what do we value more? Do we value God and the promise of a future to come, or do we value this physical world and this physical life? But that's in 2029. Yeah. Right now we're trying to get to 47.
Yeah, I just told Christina, you get an extra 30 minutes, you can spend an hour on the first chapter.
Amen. We're cruising. All right, let's do 47. Jacob's final wish. Oh yeah, and then let's dive into the last thing. What about Jacob's final wish?
He wanted to be buried with his ancestors.
Okay. Why is that important? This is progressive revelation. Everyone good? Anyone anything?
Anybody need a refill? Sprite? Anybody else?
Can I have some water?
Yeah. And can I get a coffee with cream?
So water and coffee with cream.
And Sprite, right?
Sprite.
Yep.
Coffee, water, and Sprite.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank God I left this here.
Oh, she's been so thirsty this whole time. We didn't even know.
If only we had somebody to serve us.
No,
The
that's
people of
good.
service.
Well, I'm supposed to text her, but
No, I meant we're the hands of Jesus, but it's okay. 2029. We'll get there.
I'm still
I'm trying to
learning.
do the faith
Still
thing.
learning.
I can't hold nothing.
So a couple things that are important here. Who does he have make this vow?
Joseph?
Joseph, okay. Why is that important?
Because he's trustworthy.
Okay. But that's not it.
He's the heir.
Connection.
Okay. So by speaking to Joseph, he's saying, you are the one that I trust the most. You are the one that I'm seeing as the family leader, right? So remember it was, you had, help me out here. You have the blessing and then birthright, right? So what we're going to see is Joseph is going to get the birthright. Judah is going to get the blessing. Now they're all going to get a part of the blessing, but Judah's going to get the real blessing. Okay, so Joseph is picked out, and when you have a birthright, you are the family leader, and you're getting a double portion. Those are two things that are important about being in the birthright. So by making Joseph, by saying, I need you to speak this vow, and this, he's identifying him as the family head, as the leader by doing this. And then the other thing is, when Jacob says, take me back and bury me with my forefathers, even though the best of the land is before him and they're living in the best place in the entire world, he's saying, I don't care about that. Our identity, my identity is with my forefathers. My identity is with God's promise. My identity is with being God's promised heir. So he's on his deathbed, thank you so much. He's identifying what the most important thing is to him. And he's saying, in the end, I want to acknowledge how important it is, my role and who I am and the blessings that I've been given, God's covenant, and being the holder of his covenant. So he's saying, take me back to my land. And remember, when he was leaving the land, God said to him, you will be brought back, but Joseph will close your eyes. Right? Mm-hmm. And then at the very end, it says, he said, swear to me. He swore to him. Then Israel bowed and worshiped at the head of the bed. Right? So in this time, he's saying, this is Joseph coming full circle in his relationship with God. Right? So from being somebody that struggled against God, fought against God, didn't ask God for anything, in the very end, the last acts he's doing is asking God for permission before he leaves the land, saying, hey, make sure that my bones are taken back because that's where my covenant identity is. And then he's also saying, and I'm gonna take this last moment of my life to worship God before he starts the blessings. So before he even starts the blessings, he takes the time to worship God. And this is what we're unpacking from Joseph. We're seeing his life come full circle.
And in that moment, I mean, presumably he's asking God for his counsel about what type of blessing to give.
Amen.
To each.
Yes.
So he gets it at that point.
So
Seek God's counsel first.
And I want to read it, but I also want to ask, was this a traditional blessing that we're about to see happen here?
No.
Why is it not traditional?
It's reversed.
Okay, it's reversed, and what else?
Some people didn't get actually blessed.
Okay, some people actually didn't get blessed. And there's one more really important thing that changes this from being a traditional blessing.
I could be wrong about this, but is it the birthright supposed to go to the oldest?
Yeah, great. I love it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
That the birthright, you said?
Birthright should go.
That the birthright is supposed to go to the oldest.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what he has experienced, who was the oldest in Jacob's family?
Was it Judah?
Oh, no. And I mean, in the family he grew up in,
Who's Reuben?
Esau.
Esau,
Oh, okay.
right? So his family and his family structure, he grew up. He wasn't the oldest, but he got the birthright. Now he got it through trickery, but he understood just because you're the oldest doesn't mean that you should be the family head and family leader. He's like, that should go to the person that's the most capable of doing it. And he knew from the beginning Esau wasn't capable of doing that. Not in a way that was honoring God and would protect the family and the identity. Even at a young age, he knew that. So he's at this point identifying that he is not going to be forced to give the birthright to the oldest. Because who's the oldest? Reuben. And what has Reuben done to earn or not earn that favor?
Married externally. Killed a bunch of people.
Nope, that was Simeon and Levi.
Slept with.
Go on, Christina.
Slept
Say it with your chest.
He slept with his mama, his father's bed.
Yeah.
How do you?
You say J.
There it is.
Put that on the shirt.
Don't tempt us. Christina said he a hoe.
Feel like speedball.
Concubine. He slept with Jacob's concubine or his stepbrother's mom. Something like that. It's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated.
Keeping it in the family.
Yeah. And he did it because he was trying to usurp Jacob, because he saw Jacob as not being the leader that he was supposed to be. But and we're about to find out, Jacob's like, I never forgot that. This is who you always have been. And then remember when the whole thing with Benjamin, Reuben's like, I'll stand, like, what does he say to Jacob? He says, let Benjamin go, and if I don't bring him back, you can
You
what?
have my kid.
Yeah.
You can kill my two
kill my
kids.
kids.
And Jacob's like, you idiot. My gosh, where's Joseph? And that's who he's dealing with. But yeah, so he knows Reuben's not going to be qualified to be the head. But he sees in Joseph and says, but Joseph for sure is, even though he's one of the youngest, that he's the one that needs to be given. But he's only given the birthright, and we're about to get into that. 48, Israel's last days, because I'm going to have to power along here. Let's keep reading 1 through 5, and then we'll just keep moving on.
After this,
47 or 48?
48. 48, 1 through 5, and I think we'll just go ahead and read the whole chapter. And then we'll just kind of do a group breakdown. Go ahead.
After this, Joseph was told, your father is ill. So he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. When Joseph was told, your son Joseph has come to you. When Jacob was told, your son Joseph has come to you, he summoned his strength and sat up in bed. And Jacob said to Joseph, God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and he blessed me, and said to me, I am going to make you fruitful and increase your numbers. I will make of you a company of peoples, and will give this land to your offspring after you for a perpetual holding. Therefore your two sons, who were born to you in the land of Egypt, before I came to you in Egypt, are now mine. Ephraim and Manasseh shall be mine, just as Reuben and Simeon are.
Any children born to you after them will be yours. In the territory they inherit, they will be reckoned under the names of their brothers. As I was returning from Paddan to my sorrow, Rachel died in the land of Canaan while we were still on the way, a little distance from Ephrath. So I buried her there beside the road to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. When Israel saw the two sons of Joseph, he asked, who are these? They are the sons God has given me here, Joseph said to his father. Then Israel said, bring them to me so I may bless them. Now Israel's eyes were failing because of old age, and he could hardly see. So Joseph brought his sons close to him, and his father kissed them and embraced them.
Israel said to Joseph, I never expected to see your face again, but now God has let me see your offspring. Then Joseph took them from his father's knees and bowed with his face to the ground. Then Joseph took them both with his right hand Ephraim toward Israel's left, and with his left hand Manasseh toward Israel's right. and brought them to Israel. But Israel stretched out his right hand and put it on the head of Ephraim, the younger, and crossing his hands, he put his left on Manasseh's head, although Manasseh was the firstborn.
Skip.
Okay, Jasmine?
And he blessed Joseph and said, God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God which fed me all my life long unto this day. Ham and Isaac did walk, and God which fed me all my life until this day. The angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, and let my name be named on them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, and let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him, and he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head. And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head. And his father refused and said, I know it, my son, I know it. He also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations. And he blessed them that day, saying, And thee shall Israel bless, saying, God make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh.
Okay.
Then Israel said to Joseph, I'm about to die, but God will be with you and take you back to the land of your fathers. And to you I give one more ridge of land. Then to your brothers the ridge I took from the Amorites with my sword and my bow.
Okay. Let me ask you guys, do you guys want to do you guys have some stuff you want to unpack right here? Or are you guys more interested in the blessings that God put on the brothers? Or are you more interested in talking about the final part with the death of Jacob and Joseph? Because I'm just trying to figure out where I want to put some emphasis on time.
Real quick, was there a conflict in Joseph when he tried to switch Jacob's hands on his sons?
Initially, but yeah.
I mean, in the sense that he was now not, his place.
Order. We'll get
As
to that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Could we combine 48 and 49?
Yes. Yeah. And just know we will not fully go over 49 because we're going to keep coming back to this a little bit over and over again. Okay? Because as we go on, we're going to see this we're really going to take a look at this blessing when it comes to parts of the wilderness experience, but really when they get to Joshua and they're divvying up the land. So we're going to come back and really kind of look into this. So we'll touch it here and then we'll hold on to it, but this is so that you can have an identity of what the tribes were like going forward.
One other thing,
Sure.
Real quick. Rachel dies and he just buries her on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Is there?
Well, you can't take a dead body with you. They didn't have a way to embalm.
Okay.
Right. And also, he purchased a piece of property for her to be buried there. Yeah. But.
I just thought.
Yeah. But we're going to get into like a little bit of the logistics of burial sites and stuff also.
Right.
And 48. Somebody said that this is the first time that Jacob is seeing his sons. Now, how long has Jacob been in the land? Or how long do we know that does anybody know how long he'll be in the land? He's 130 when he gets there. How old is he going to be when he dies? 140. Yeah, you're right. 147. 17 years in the land. So, because he says, who are these? Right? Some people have speculated that he has not seen his grandsons until that point. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Now, distances, I don't have my map with me, but so you have the promised land over here. You have Egypt over here, right here in the middle is Goshen. right here on the Nile rivers where you got your key palaces for Pharaoh. So there would have been some distance between where Pharaoh is and Goshen, hence why the removal and the separation. Joseph, now that his family's here, would spend most of his time near Pharaoh. Jacob, of course, would spend most of his time there. Do you guys agree with that idea, or do you guys think that that doesn't sound right? No right or wrong, just kind of curious.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Do you,
Because he said he brought the boys to him,
To
so
him.
they weren't around him.
and so when Jacob comes down to see Pharaoh, you don't think Joseph introduced his sons to them at that time?
Don't sound like it.
Or is it because he's old and can't see and
Could be because he's dim in eyes, it
maybe
says.
even a little bit senile?
Yeah.
Like just a little bit forgetful too, maybe, of like,
Well, and
wait, who are these?
and what if when Jacob came down to see Pharaoh, he gets to see Joseph's sons, but then he goes back home where his new home is in Goshen, and then it's going to be how long until this happens? From the time he sees 17 years. So in that time, his eyes could have gotten dim, and he could be like, who in the world are these? How many times have our grandparents said that when we came in, like, who is this? They know who we are.
Because you've grown
Right.
so much.
Or it could be he's at the end of his life and he's a little bit senile or can't see very well. Just like, because it does say he got dim of eyes, just like his father had got dim of eyes. It's just an interesting thought that kind of set that narrative. So he's near death. He calls who to come to him?
Joseph and the two sons.
Joseph and the two sons. So he doesn't say, Joseph, come. He says, bring your sons. Okay? He's near death. Why, when you're near death and you're calling, what is he about to do?
Bless them.
Bless them. So then the question is, why is he bringing the two sons? He's supposed to bless Joseph, but he says, bring your two
Because
sons.
they were born Egyptian.
Okay.
So
There we
he's
go.
bringing them into the bloodline.
Okay. She cheated.
He's adopting.
Her cheated. This goes into the significance about what's to happen. He's saying, basically, he's already giving Joseph a heads up. This is not going to be just about you. All right. So he's saying, bring your sons with you. Now, anybody want to explain what happens in verse 5 and 6?
It's
So let's-
part of the nation.
Right. So let's start in verse 3. Then Jacob said to Joseph, God Almighty appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and blessed me. And he said to me, behold, I will make you fruitful, numerous, and I will make you a company of people. And I will give you this land to your descendants after you, an everlasting possession. Why is it important that he starts with that? Here's a hint. Where are they when he tells them this?
Egypt.
Right.
They were born in Egypt,
Where is he? No. They are in Egypt.
right? And they were born in Egypt.
Right. But Jacob's talking to Joseph right now. So
They're in Goshen.
they're in Goshen or Egypt, right? He's talking to Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
So why is this important?
Because
This is a logistical question.
they need to get back to the promised land.
Okay. He is about to give them a blessing to claim the promised land, but they're not in the promised land.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What he's doing is he's speaking an act of faith on God to do what he said he was going to do. See it?
Mm-hmm.
You will possess the land. Our God will not fail. And when he does that, so he's speaking as sure as if he read the book already. And he said, so I already know you're going to be there. When you're there, this is what's going to happen. Da, 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 da. I'm just pointing this out to say this is the type of faith that Jacob has now stepped into. That he can look at what God has said, that it has already happened. So he's now speaking into existence, speaking into fulfillment. The thing that has not happened and will not happen, and he doesn't know this yet, but it will not happen for generations and generations, hundreds of years. But he's speaking with surety right now. That's one of the most important setups. So if he's doing that, then 5 and 6, does anybody want to try to explain what he's saying right here? And if somebody wants, they can read out 5 and 6 out loud.
Now I am claiming as my own sons these 2 boys of yours, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born here in the land of Egypt before I arrived. They will be my sons, just as Reuben and Simeon are. But any children born to you in the future will be your own, and they will inherit land within the territories of their brothers Ephraim and Manasseh.
Okay.
So if they were born before he arrived, they were 17.
Mm-hmm. Or even older than that.
Or even older, yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, they were born to him sometime in the first 7 years of plenty.
Mm.
Yeah. So they're actually more than just boys at this point. A blessing usually goes to who? The father blesses the what? Son. Here, is he blessing Joseph?
No.
Grandson.
What is he doing? In Joseph's presence, what is he actually doing? Who's he blessing?
The sons.
His grandson.
The sons. He's bypassing Joseph to say, I'm going to bless your sons. Mm-hmm. Now, I think your question was, does Joseph get riled up a little bit because he's not getting blessing, but his sons are getting blessing? Was that what you were asking?
No, it was more on birth order.
Oh, okay.
Why did Israel put the hand on the youngest?
Why did he flip them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
And Joseph
okay.
even took the hand and says, no, Dad.
Try to correct him. Yeah.
This is the way it's going to be.
I have a strange question.
Uh-huh.
Is that why Ephraim and Manasseh is part of the 12 tribes of Israel and not Joseph?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Darlene. Look at the family tree. Everyone that he's blessing is his sons that's coming from his offspring. But he doesn't bless Joseph, he actually blesses his 2 sons. So he's skipping Joseph to bless them. Now, we get the answer. Now, your 2 sons who were born to you in the land of Egypt, before I came to you in Egypt, are whose?
His.
Mine. What he's doing is he's formally adopting them into the family. And Christy, you want to unpack why that's important?
No.
Oh, but you answered already. Camera on you.
To get them back to the promised land.
I mean, that's what's going to happen, yes. But by adopting them, remember, he's actually taking them in.
Preserving that line.
Well, he's saying you were born in Egypt. You're half Egyptian.
Kind of like the same concept as being grafted in.
He's grafting them into the family and saying nobody will ever be able to say that you are some type of half-breed. Right? And exactly. And as every child that's going to come after you is going to be directly considered directly coming from me, because they're going to be viewed as being, because everybody, when they talk about the tribes of Jacob and they mention Ephraim, Manasseh, there's an automatic thought these are the children of Jacob, but actually they're not. They're the children of Joseph. And he's doing that because he's saying, I want nobody to question legally that these are our people. Yes, they were born, you have an Egyptian wife. Yes, they were born in Egypt. They are mine. They're part of the covenant. I'm bringing them into the blessing. That's why this is so important. That's why Joseph doesn't sit there and go, hey, what about me? He's actually giving Joseph the biggest peace of mind and the biggest favor that he's saying, your children are a part of our family. Now, here's the most important part. That Joseph, how does he feel about God? What's your take on that? How?
Faithful.
He's very faithful.
He's very faithful.
Yeah.
Does he take God serious?
Yes.
Right? Does he believe that God's going to do what God's going to say he's going to do?
Yes.
Right? He's proven that how his relationship with God is. So for him, the most important thing that could happen is that his children are part of God's covenant, part of God's blessing, part of his protection. So Jacob is giving him one of the greatest honors that could possibly happen. So,
Can I
yeah.
throw a wrench into things for 2029?
No, please do.
Okay. So, and this
Love
is why I asked
wrenches.
about 48.
Yeah.
So, in 48, there's the blessings to each of the brothers. And they're talking about Dan's blessing is listed. And then you go up earlier, and Ephraim and Manasseh are switched.
Right.
Right? And then you go to 2029, Revelation, and you're talking about the sealed 144,000, where Dan is omitted from the 12 tribes, but Manasseh is included in those 12 tribes there. But here, Manasseh is put in second place behind Ephraim, and yet for the sealed 144,000 in Revelation, Christ lists Manasseh and not Ephraim, despite Ephraim jumping the line to the front.
Okay. I'll give you that answer, but it'll have to be out of class.
In 2029.
No. I'll give it to you. It has to be outside of class because.
And when I studied Revelation,
Yeah.
in my last study at BSF, and I brought up that Dan was omitted, there were like rolled eyes like, oh, you're going to do this, huh?
Well, I know why Dan was omitted. I'm pretty sure I know why it's Ephraim too. But to do that, it'll be, it'll be 2027 when we're talking about the divided kingdom, when you'll actually get the fullness of that answer, which is a fascinating answer. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite parts about the whole thing that's grossly neglected.
He doesn't want to get in trouble because I'm like learning as we go, and I get mad when he's like jumping. I'm like, no, don't spoil. Like it's like watching a show for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't spoil it.
So I was like, can I just give you an
He doesn't wanna get in
overview?
trouble.
Can I give you an overview of what's going to happen so that we can just go and let it rip? No, but it's a really good question because there's. Yeah. It's a. Huh? I know. But each one of these tribes is about to. So when I asked you guys what was the thing that he does that's so different from any other blessing, it's prophecy. He doesn't just bless them; he prophesies over them and says, "This is what's going to happen. This is something that's going to cause you to be in conflict and this and that." It's not just. But he blesses all of them. So we'll just jump a little bit ahead. When you got, did everybody here read 49 yet? Okay. When you read it, does everybody get blessed?
No.
Guys, anyone else? Does everyone get blessed?
No.
No? Okay. We're going to stand on that hill?
Yes.
Okay. Jasmine?
I've read half of it, so.
Okay, that's fine.
Just underlining names in the 49 of those being blessed. It says this is the 12 tribes, and I'm getting 11.
Okay. Well, how are you getting 11?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just count them. You gotta understand. Keep it simple. Somebody got left out.
Yeah.
I
think you counted in Spanish. No. Yeah. So real quick, when it comes to the blessing, we're kind of intermixing, but that's fine because we're combining 48 and 49. All right. It's all the brothers. All right. Who is left out of the blessing of land?
Simeon and Levi.
No. Simeon and Levi are actually combined.
Yeah. So now
When it comes to land, do you guys know?
when it comes to land,
Yeah.
Oh, is it Benjamin? The early.
I'm afraid I'm jumping ship on this one.
Brandon becomes the tribe of the priests, right?
Right.
So it's
Who is that?
the Levites, right?
The Levites are going to become
So they don't have land.
the priests of the tribes, the priestly tribe, right? And who else? One other person is left out of this. The land. Hmm?
Is it the town?
Joseph.
Oh, yeah.
There is no tribe of Joseph. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You gotta say it louder.
He did. I was like, somebody said
I was
Joseph.
like, he did say Joseph. That's how I was like, isn't it?
Oh man, my bad. So Joseph is the other one that's left out, right? So you got Levi and Joseph that don't get land. All right? That means you have 10 brothers that get a plot. Who's filling in those 2 spots? Manasseh and Ephraim. And that's how you get 12.
Okay.
And in the blessing cycle here, Simeon and Levi are together spoken over. That's probably where you're getting 11.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this part right here, he's taking the time to say, Joseph, I'm going to bring your family, I'm going to adopt your children into this so that they're a part of the blessing. And then he goes to, and he does just a real couple things here. He announces who God is to him in verse 15 and 16. Now, what did you guys see that he said about who God is that stood out? That might be unique, might be something. And again, progressive revelation. Think about where Jacob has come from to be the point where he sees God in this way. Look at how he describes God. The God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads, right? And he goes on to et cetera, et cetera. We learned a couple things about how he sees and understands who God is. Do you guys see it? Go ahead. Try 2 things, 2 specific things.
The covenant God.
The covenant God, okay.
Personal God.
Keep going.
The delivering God.
Okay. I love it. Break it down. Why is he the covenant God?
He's the God of generational faithfulness.
All right. The God before my father Abraham and Isaac walked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before they walked, God was, okay? And then he's identifying them as part of the covenant that he's a part of. So covenant God. Next.
Personal God.
Personal God. How is he a personal God?
The God who has shepherded him all his life to this day.
Okay. That word is, I've put it in here. Rahel.
Ed taught on
Huh?
Ed taught on that on Sunday.
Yeah.
Or Saturday.
This is the first time in all of Scripture that God will ever be that God is referred to as a shepherd. What was Jacob's main role growing up, coming up? Shepherd. So he identifies God by the profession that he saw, and he saw God, and he knows that the shepherding role is a very intimate one with his flock, right? So he's looking at God as saying, you have guided me the way I guided my flock, and to do that you had to know me, you had to be my God. So this is a personal call to who God is. That's beautiful. And then what was the last one?
The angel who has redeemed me from all evil. So the delivering God.
Okay. Why is this important? Now again, what did they know about God at the time? We know God as the Trinity. How did they know God? Singular, right? They understood that there was Father God, right? Elohim. They also understood Yahweh. Ed broke this down for us, remember? But he also understood spirit. So they understood that there's a spirit part to that, because again, Genesis in the beginning, right? And it talks about the spirit was hovering over the face of the earth, that there's a spirit element to who God is. That's kind of where it stopped. They weren't really sure what to do after that. But by Jacob identifying who God is and then mentioning the angel who was there with him, what's he doing?
Making him anthropomorphic.
Go ahead. You want to explain that? Okay. What he's doing is he's saying that the angel that I wrestled, the form that who I was dealing with, that also was God. You see it? He's putting it all together. So by saying the angel has redeemed me from all evil, what did the angel do when he wrestled with him? Huh? Remember Jacob said, bless me. He changed his name. And the only way he was able to do that, he says, bless me. And the angel says to Jacob, what? What?
Why do you need to know my name?
Is your name? He was saying, who are you? I can't bless you unless I know who you are. Jacob had to come to, this was Jacob's come to Jesus moment in a way, right? Because he's having to accept who he is. For God to bless him, for God to change his name, for God to say, to be able to put on him that honor of calling him Israel, he had to first have Jacob admit who he was. So Jacob says, in that moment, the angel who redeemed me from all evil. Interesting that he doesn't say the God who redeemed me from all evil, but the angel who redeemed me from all evil. Anthropomorphic. He is seeing a foreshadowing of a part of God that is going to become a Christ-like figure later, or that is a future telling of what's to come. Does he know the fullness of that story? Absolutely not. But he understands that God redeems us, and that he needs a God to redeem us. That's gonna come through that form of the Godhead. So we could nerd out on that. I don't want to go too far into it. We're leaving a lot on the table, but I just wanted to point that out. And when Joseph saw that his father had laid his right hand on Ephraim's head and displeased him like this, and then Joseph says, whoa, Dad, you're doing it wrong. Which, if he did it like this, is like, yeah, he kind of did it on purpose. But Joseph's like, no. Why are you blessing the youngest with your right hand? You're supposed to, right? But he's doing this. He's like, whoa, it's reversed. This is my oldest. And he says, I know what I'm doing, right? Now, why is this important? What is so ironic about this? Huh? Okay, Eric's gonna give it to you. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is this important? What household did Jacob grow up in?
Huh?
What household did Jacob grow up in? Was he the oldest or was he the youngest?
Youngest.
And yeah, who ended up with the birthright and the blessing?
Yeah.
He did. Right? Who was the oldest in Isaac's household? Ishmael. Who ended up with the birthright and the blessing? Isaac. And then who was the oldest in Abraham's household? It wasn't him. And yet he ended up being the one that God blessed and chose. So he's saying it's not always the oldest that's going to get the blessing. He's like, he saw, because, and again, before this moment ever happens, what does Jacob take the time to do? It's at the end of 37. What does Jacob take the time to do before he starts his blessing process?
Well, he kissed them and he gave them a hug. But I don't know if that's theologically deep.
Well, in 31, it says that he worshiped. Now, actually, I'm maybe messing this up. I don't know if this chronologically happened, like as far as like he worshiped God and then this process happened, because it says that he sent for Joseph. But I'm going to just take it on a limb here that if he's the type of guy that is worshiping God at the last end of his days, he's relying on God to speak through him to what's about to come. And so in this moment, he's just becoming reactionary. And so he sees Ephraim, he sees Manasseh, and he says, Ephraim's going to get the chief blessing. And Manasseh's also going to get a blessing, but Ephraim's going to be considered the head or the older of the hierarchy here. And that's what was displeasing to Joseph at first until his dad corrected him. So you get that portion.
Do we think that Joseph knows about that? The crossed up blessing between Esau and Jacob?
Does Joseph?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff that we're hearing about was for them oral tradition. Like they knew all these stories, they knew all these things. Like Jacob would have told them time and time again around the fire, about how he ended up being this or in this position, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see here. Let me see if there's anything else to point out. We're going to move on to the blessings. And then this part. And hold on to this for later. By you, Israel will pronounce blessings, saying, may God make you like Ephraim, and may God make you like Manasseh. Later on, as we get into the story, when we get to Joshua, and even as we get into a little bit into the Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, the Pentateuch stories, we're going to see how Ephraim and Manasseh are going to separate themselves from the other tribes. But it's actually going to be when you get to Joshua that you're actually going to see where they really start to come up. And you're going to see how some of the tribes actually start to diminish. So, when it comes to the blessings that are read, we're not going to read them all. I just want to sit there and ask, from the ones you read, which are the ones that stood out to you? Because, so it says in 49, then Jacob summoned his sons and said, assemble yourselves that I may tell you what will befall you in the days to come. So he's already saying, I'm going to prophesy to you what's going to happen. Now I ask this one question. Did he bless everybody?
No.
You already asked that.
Oh, sorry. That's because I didn't get the right answer. The answer is yes, he did. Everybody.
Technically, yeah.
What's the actual blessing?
Didn't you say the prophecy?
So it's not universal, but for the brothers, it's all-encompassing. What's the actual blessing? What's everybody going to get?
Circumcised.
Exactly.
Man. That was a good try. What are all the brothers going to get?
Back to the promised land.
They all are going to get to be able to be a part of the promised land. Their families are going to get back to the promised land. Their greatest blessing, though, is that they are a part of God's blessing, covenant blessing. Each one of them is getting a portion of being a part of Abraham's blessing. They're a part of the family, the multitude that's going to go out. They're going to take possession of the land. They're going to get to be a part of that promised land takeover. So every single one of them is across the board blessed because they get to take part in this, and they're going to get because they get God as their God, and they're going to be a part of the Abrahamic covenant blessing to take the land. Now, once that happens, then we're going to get to see some are going to get some really good stuff, and some are not going to get some really good stuff. So
that was a trick question, and I don't like it.
That was not a trick question. It was awesome. Anybody else think it was a trick question?
It's kind of a bigger picture question.
It is. But it's also, think about it, we look at a lot of the outcome as being the blessing, but the real blessing is actually you're a part of God's plan and God's a part of your life. That's the real true blessing here. Not, and this is a little bit of a salvation thing. Every single one of us has been blessed with a relationship with Jesus Christ. Every single one of us has been blessed with the Holy Spirit. Every single one of us has been blessed. Go down the line. We have all received multiple different blessings. But we're not all Billy Graham, right? We're not all Ed Newton. We're not all somebody we really look up to. You know, every one of us has different giftings and different abilities and we're going to see different outcomes in our life. And it doesn't even mean that Billy Graham outworked me or this person outfaithed me. It just means that not everybody's going to get the same outcome. But that doesn't change the fact that everyone that is a believer in Jesus Christ and has the indwelling of the Spirit has been blessed. That's the greatest blessing. That not the outcome is not the great blessing. It's the foundation that's the great blessing. And so for them, their foundation is their greatest blessing, not specifically the outcome. Now, Judah is going to have something pretty freaking awesome happen to him. So, you guys tell me, who do you guys want to dive into?
Jesus.
Can't go there.
Not yet.
You know what I'm saying.
I know. Which one of the brothers that he speaks over do you guys want
Let's
to?
do Benjamin.
Okay, Benjamin.
Mhm.
You want to read it?
Sure. Benjamin is verse 27. It says, Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey. In the evening he divides the plunder.
Yeah. Now, did you get anything from that? Or did you guys do any of your own research into blessings?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's blessed. Oh, it's because I kind of read ahead. Well, I just know the story, but from him comes King Saul.
Okay. So one of the first king is going to come from Benjamin. We know that. Again, we do want to stay in the progressive revelation of they only know what they know so far.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So, but we do know that what we have seen so far by the time they're going to get this is that Benjamin's going to establish himself as one of the stronger tribes, right? And you want to share anything that falls under progressive revelation?
I don't want to spoil the cinema.
Okay.
So I put fierce warrior tribe, strong
Yes.
in battle.
Okay. That's one of the main things to take away. Benjamin's going to be one of the chief warring tribes, like the strongest. They're going to actually produce some of the greatest numbers. Even though they're actually going to hold later on some of the smaller parts of the land, as they're coming up, they're going to be the ones that are going to be some of the chief fighters of the land, hence ravenous wolf. But he's also saying, if you're a ravenous wolf, what does that mean? Ravenous means hungry. And it doesn't mean that it says, in the morning he devours his prey, in the evening he divides his spoil. He's constantly going to fill a need to constantly be on the move, be aggressive, and that type of thing.
And it was the Benjaminites, or those men from the Benjaminite tribe, who raped the concubine of the man who then chopped her up and shipped her up. Right?
Yeah.
Which,
But don't get too far ahead, because they don't know that's going to happen.
I wondered because
But that is a good example of,
we just don't. There's not a lot about Benjamin
Mhm.
thus far.
right.
I mean,
But what he's doing is he's speaking it into saying, this is who your people are going to be. He's actually speaking an identity into a lot of them. What's another one?
Partially, I bring it up because the ravenousness that's brought up it's more than just hunger. It's kind of like a hunger of the undead, almost, like an undying hunger. And then it tends to eat him.
Yes.
That tribe alive.
Right.
yeah.
If you can't be satiated, you're going to you're basically going to be harmful for yourself and harmful for the people around you.
Right.
Because you're constantly going to be in a feeling of needing to take. Another one that stood out to you guys.
Judah.
All right, Judah. What stands out to you about Judah's blessing? And do you want to read it for us? Okay.
Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the necks of your
That's easy.
enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You're a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son. Like a lion who crouches and lies down. Like a lioness who dares to rouse him. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his. He will tether his donkey to a vine, his colt to the choicest branch. He will wash his garments in wine, his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes will be darker than wine, his teeth whiter than milk.
Okay. Outside of the whole wine and milk thing type of stuff, let's focus on the stuff that we actually can see that he's speaking into his tribe's future existence.
Well, pretty big key word there is lion.
Okay, so he gives them the lion identity, right? And that's going to be a massive identity for Israel itself, but specifically of all the tribes, he's saying, you are,
The leader.
yes, the leader. the strong one. And then the next thing, that's probably the most important.
Vine?
After lion,
Vine?
vine.
Yeah.
It just reminds you of Jesus, when Jesus says that I'm the vine and you are the branch.
Okay.
Because he is.
Number 11, verse 11.
Tries to fall through vines.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how much of that we can unpack right now.
Dude, there's so much to unpack.
I know. Actually, let's go with verse 10 first, because verse 11 is what's going to he's actually, again, he's speaking prophecy. They don't understand everything he's saying. They're just kind of like, some of it sounds really dope, and some of it's like, oh crap, right? So, verse 10, what's the most important thing that he's identifying there?
The scepter.
What does that mean?
King.
King. And what about this? King. Because Benjamin's going to have a king come out. Naphtali, Issachar,
Benjamin's
Gad.
also producing Saul.
Pretty much most of these are going to have kings come out of them.
Well, it says the obedience
But it will
of
not
the
depart.
nation.
From Judah.
All right.
That's, that
We got
means location.
we got several answers. Will not depart. And then what'd you say, Rebecca?
I said it says the obedience of the nations shall be his.
Okay.
Not just this nation, but the nations.
Okay. But it says that part that you said comes after what?
Yes.
What's said just before that?
Until he to whom it belongs shall come.
Okay. And anybody else have a different version? That part right there?
Dude, the vernacular spells Jesus out, pretty much.
Well, mine also says, nor the ruler's staff from his descendants, too.
Okay. Let me read this out, and then you guys tell me if you have something similar. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. Does anybody have that?
No?
I do.
Okay. Do you guys know what Shiloh means?
Mine says until the coming of the one to whom it belongs.
Okay. Talking about the scepter, talking about the ruler, right? The staff of rulership. Shiloh means peace, or the person who will bring, the one who will bring peace. Thank you so much.
So I have a footnote for Judah.
Okay.
It says Judah has sold Joseph into slavery and tried to defraud his daughter-in-law. So why did Jacob grant him this blessing? Because God had chosen Judah to be the ancestor of Israel's line of kings. That is the meaning of the scepter will not depart from Judah. Despite his misdeeds, Judah's line will produce the promised Messiah, Jesus.
Okay. That's not progressive revelation. I'm just joking.
Well, I don't know what else it is.
Well, no, but they don't know that. They're limited in their understanding. So all that he sees is like, Judah, you're receiving this blessing, and it's saying that the scepter, the leadership role, the kingship type of role will not depart from your line. That will be perpetual. That will keep going from person to person, or it'll keep ongoing. So it's an everlasting idea behind kingship, right? Starting with David and working its way out. And David will ultimately lead to he who shall not be named. I'm just joking.
Wow.
Yeshua HaMashiach. All right.
Bless you.
But all Judah understands is a king's going to come that will be an everlasting king, or a kingdom will come that will be an everlasting kingdom. And it says, until Shiloh comes. So who's this Shiloh? Who is this person that is to come, to what Rebecca said, and to him, right? So Shiloh is a person, and to him shall be the obedience of the peoples, right? So he in this is a prophetic, for one of the chief identifying that there's a redeemer to come, that is a person, and he's actually saying this is where the redeemer that is to come for the Hebrew people, right?
That's not progressive revelation. You're telling us what's coming.
No. He's saying it right here. He's saying a redeemer is going. Shiloh will come, and to him shall be the obedience to the Hebrew people. Right?
Yours says Hebrew people?
No,
Mine
it-
doesn't say it.
Mine doesn't say Hebrew.
That's right, because it doesn't say the Hebrew people. It says the people.
Dang. Good at that too.
All the peoples.
All the peoples.
Right?
Yeah.
He's saying for the nation, for the world, there will be one who's going to come that's going to bring this about. So there's a foreshadowing of what's to come.
So would that make Judah the son of
Well, let's say the most important. Yeah. For the sake of the whole world, for the sake of the overall story, Judah is. And here's the thing. When so you have
Benjamin too, because of Paul.
because look, you have Abraham passes his seed of covenant blessing on to who? Isaac. Isaac passes on to who? Jacob. Jacob passes on to who?
12 sons.
Only one. Because only one can
Judah.
bear the seed that's going to lead to
That's the answer.
Shiloh. Well, all of them are going to get a part of the overall covenant heir blessing, right? But only one of them is actually going to have the honor of producing the future Redeemer, right? So that's why, yes, that's why Judah will be the most important of them all. Now, let's just move on because we only got a few more minutes left. But later on, we're not done with this yet. We're going to come back. When we deal with Joshua and they divvy up the land, when we deal with the people and the issues that they're having, we're going to come back and we're going to take a look at Simeon and Levi. We're going to take a look at Gad. We're going to take a look at all these. We're definitely going to take a look at Dan, right? And, of course, Ephraim and Manasseh. So a lot of the stories are going to come full circle later. It's just right now he's speaking into their lives. Some of it is really good, and they're going to flourish, and some of them is like, it's not going to be so great for you. But the thing is that what he's doing is he's not pulling any punches. Some people are going to have great outcomes, some are not. And then let's go ahead and read chapter 50, and then we'll start to wrap it up. I know they got to get us to pay the bill and all that type of stuff. They're not going to like hardcore kick us out at 9 o'clock, but right around, we want to make sure we're starting to wrap up around that time. So, Darlene, do you want to kick us off? I know you only read a couple verses on the last one. 50, verse 1 through 5.
Joseph threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. Then Joseph directed the physicians and his servants to embalm his father Israel. So the physicians embalmed him, taking a full 40 days, for that was the time required for embalming. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. When the days of mourning had passed, Joseph said to Pharaoh's court, "If I have found favor in your eyes, speak to Pharaoh for me. Tell him my father made me swear on oath and said, I am about to die. Bury me in a tomb I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. Now let me go up and bury my father, then I will return."
Okay.
Pharaoh agreed to Joseph's request. "Go, bury your father, as he made you promise," he said. So Joseph went up to bury his father. He was accompanied by all of Pharaoh's officials, all the senior members of Pharaoh's household, and all the senior officers of Egypt. Joseph also took his entire household and his brothers and their households, but they left their little children in flocks and herds in the land of Goshen. A great number of chariots and charioteers accompanied Joseph. When they arrived at the threshing floor of Atad, near the Jordan River, they held a very great and solemn memorial service with a 7-day period of mourning for Joseph's father.
The local residents, the Canaanites, watched them mourning at the threshing floor of Atad. Then they renamed that place, which is near the Jordan, Abel Mizraim. For they said, "This is a place of deep mourning for the Egyptians." So Jacob's sons did as he commanded them. They carried his body to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave in the field of, don't know. Nope, what?
Machpelah.
Machpelah near Mamre. This is the cave that Abraham had bought as a permanent burial site from Ephron to Hittite.
Mm-hmm.
After burying Jacob, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all who had accompanied him to his father's burial. But now that their father was dead, Joseph's brothers became fearful. Now Joseph will show his anger and pay us back for all the wrong we did to him, they said.
So they sent word to Joseph saying, your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they've committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of God, of your father. When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. We are your slaves, they said. But Joseph said to them, don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children. And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them.
Joseph stayed in Egypt along with all his father's family. He lived 110 years and saw the third generation of Ephraim's children. Also the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were placed at birth on Joseph's knees. Then Joseph said to his brothers, I'm about to die. But God will surely come to your aid and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on an oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Joseph made the Israelites swear an oath and said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up from this place.
Go ahead.
So Joseph died at the age of 110, and after they embalmed him, he was placed in a coffin in Egypt.
Okay.
Is it wrong that I
The
wanted
end.
to hear like a harmonica while he was like with his voice? It was very well narrated, sir.
Yeah. That was. Oh, that was. Yeah.
It was very
I was gonna say a shofar, but yes.
Free blast.
Yeah.
Free blast.
He's had a little bit of practice.
That was well done. One part we didn't read, but I just want to point it out, is there he's saying to them what he wants his sons to do, and he's recounting like where he's buried who. There they buried Abraham and his wife Sarah, and buried Isaac and his wife Rebekah. This is in 49:31. And there I buried Leah in the field in the cave that I purchased for the lands of Heth, from the sons of Heth. And then drew his feet and to his breath and breathed his last and gathered his people to him. So Jacob finally, his days come to an end. He passes away. We already know where he wants to be buried. What is interesting about the place that he chooses and who he's identifying that he wants to be buried next to?
No Rachel.
No Rachel. Because Rachel couldn't be there, right? But he still identifies Leah, right? So after all this time, Leah finally gets her redemption in the fact that she's the one buried next to the man that she always loved and wanted his attention and wanted his affection. But in the end, she's the one that he's saying, I will rest beside mine.
He said, you'll get it when we die.
And that's that. I love it.
The dream finally comes true.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
The dream finally comes true.
Yeah.
His brothers bow to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his brothers, his father. Remember, they bowed to him when, when they came to him to give her food, and then they came the second time, and they were bowing down, and then of course he sees his father. But yes, at this point we're seeing his dream has actually been fulfilled, probably 100 times over by now. I think one of the things that was interesting, we didn't have time to point out, but I'll point it out real quick. Before Jacob blesses his sons, Joseph bows down to Jacob. Now, imagery here. Joseph is the second most powerful person in the world. Jacob is arrayed in all his Egyptian glory. Jacob is, or Joseph isn't in all his Egyptian glory. Jacob is simply just an old father, old shepherd. And yet Jacob shows in front of his sons the imagery of him bowing down to his father before his father will bless his sons. So it's an image for his sons of saying of where the respect and authority was before the blessing came. So I honestly, like, I wish we had more time with this. I know that sounds weird because there's so much more I'm leaving on the table to help unpack Jacob's full story, but I can't emphasize to you enough Jacob's respect level that he ends up with, like on par with Abraham. It doesn't seem like that's where his story is going to go, but that's where he ends up.
He's an archetype.
He's an archetype. And I'm going to take one more moment to say this, because this is I can't tell you how important this is. Most of us worry about how we started this journey, and we look at our lives and go, man, I made these mistakes, I made this mistake, and blah, blah, blah. And we look at our lives and we think that maybe we're not redeemable, or we've done something non-redeemable, or we've wasted too much time. I promise you, the most important thing you're going to see in all these stories going forward, it's not how you start, and it's not how fast you run, it's how you end the race. That is by far the most important part of this entire thing. And one of the greatest tragedies is watching somebody who starts fast, who starts hot, and peters out. And Solomon's.
Dang.
What?
Wow.
For real though.
Throw it in there.
What?
I learned about not to be talking like that about Peter like 3 weeks ago from Ed.
Peters out. I don't get it. Did I miss that part of the message?
You don't remember that?
No. Okay. Well, but
Anyways, it's an endurance race.
He was
Yeah.
he was getting coffee.
yeah, I was getting coffee. Yeah.
Oh,
Well, a better way to put it is Solomon's out.
I have a question. Is that what that means when it says, the first will be last and the last will be first?
That saying? Oh, I have no
Well, it's in
idea.
the Bible.
No, I honestly I don't know where Peter's out comes from. I just
No, what you just said.
uh-huh. No, it's more about Paul will talk about this later when he talks about making sure that you finish strong, that you run the race with endurance, right? But Jacob is an archetype of living this life the right way, in the sense that he didn't start off right. He made tremendous amount of mistakes. He was a blundering idiot. He got in the way most of his time, but he kept at it and kept at it. And look at how he finishes. And that's the imagery here, is just the redemptive cycle of Jacob's life and Jacob's story. So the only things I'll point out, again, we're running out of time, so I can't ask a lot of questions, is imagine what the procession, first off, because they're all leaving and Pharaoh gives them permission to go, what do they do to show that this is just a temporary move to go make this burial? They leave their children, their flocks, and everything behind. So they're like, we're coming back, we're just going here to do this. And this procession that's coming out of Egypt, that's not like a short drive down 281. I mean, we're talking about a weeks and weeks long procession of grandeur to take and bury this old shepherd in his place. So imagine what the hillbilly Canaanites must have been thinking when they're seeing this whole thing come about.
Entourage.
Yeah. That's why it says, now when the inhabitants of the Canaanites saw the mourning in the threshing floor of Arad, they said, this is a grievous mourning for the Egyptians. They're basically saying, look at this parade, this affair. This must have been a tremendous loss. And it's just an old shepherd. I mean, he's not just an old shepherd, he's a sheep, but I mean, just imagine the imagery, the respect that they're paying him to do that. And then when, afterwards, what are the brothers most concerned about?
Oh, you're gonna,
Now that dad's dead,
yeah.
right? Because remember, Esau said, when dad's dead, then you're mine. So he's like, in honor of our father, we're not going to have violence, but as soon as we're done. So they're thinking, man, maybe the only thing holding Joseph back was, so they're still having issues with trust and stuff like that. They still don't see what Joseph saw.
Sorry, I was gonna say, when you mentioned earlier about the black card, maybe that's why they felt reserved about maxing that black card out, because Joseph could have canceled them at any time.
Yeah, yeah. They don't have like a bunch of stores of stuff. They're just given on a weekly, monthly allowance, or whatever it is, like quarterly allowance of food. Yeah, and that's what he said. I will continue to provide for you and for your families. But when Joseph hears about this, what does he do? He weeps. Why do you think he wept?
Because he loved his dad.
Well, but his dad's already buried.
I'm thinking it's like, guys, don't you get it yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done all this for you.
Yeah.
I've protected you. I've given you this land. And
Yeah.
you
And that's
still
not
think
what I
I'm
Seems
thought.
unkind.
Yeah, you still
That's
think
not who I am.
I think their fear made him sad.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not seeing that they're still living in their fear. They're still kind of resorting to their old ways, because he's like, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to pretend like Dad said that. Like, I'm gonna protect you because God has commissioned. But he's also like, don't you see the big picture? Don't you see who God is? Like, God has put this and orchestrated so I could protect you, not so I could take revenge. So yeah, I think it is a miscommunication and breakdown.
Joseph never did a bad thing to them ever.
Yeah.
There's like-
Well, he did make him run circles and give him
Well,
stress bombs and stuff like
They
that.
deserve them.
He did put Simeon in jail for 3 months.
That part.
But he wrote to
Yeah. Yeah, he could have done so much, and he never did anything because of his perspective. And then, of course, Joseph, when he finishes, commissions them with what? His brothers. What does he say to his brothers at the very end?
So God meant for this to be good. Is that what you're talking about?
The commission. He tells them one more thing, do
God
this.
will take them out of Egypt to the promised land. Swear an oath to take his bones with them.
Right. He too is saying, this is not my land. And by saying that, he's also saying, this is not your land either. He's saying, bury me with my father, bury me where we're supposed to be. But at this point, he's saying, yes, we have it good here, but this is not where our final destination is supposed to be. And of all the brothers, he's the only one whose bones are taken out of Egypt.
So yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So anyway, we're up against it now, but does anybody have any final questions? Thoughts, observations?
I think it's interesting that the story goes right up to just like where it's supposed to go, because then it's like they were in the second year of the famine, and then all of a sudden Jacob dies, Joseph dies, end of story.
Now,
It's like they don't really go into what happens between.
yes.
So it's just like we got to the point we needed to get to, the purpose of Joseph being here,
Mhm.
and then we're like, that's all we needed to tell you. Boom, Joseph's dead. Then he died.
Wah, wah, wah.
It got to the point that it needed to get to. And then
Classic Hebrew poetry.
When you guys have a chance, read those last 3 or 4 verses, and then without pause go right into Exodus 1, because that's how it was written. It wasn't a separate book. They didn't have paragraphs. It's a story that flows. We're the ones that broke it up because that's how the Spirit put it on them to break it up so we can compartmentalize it. But it flows from one to the next.
It's a lot of paper.
Yeah, so sorry. My boss makes me candies out.
Oh, no.
It's policy
We're not
over
staying
here.
for the.
We liked you until now.
Wow.
Sorry if I took a while. I was trying to see like.
Yeah, you're fine. Thank you.
Alright, hold on.
Did I get
I'm
my
missing
sheet?
on some certain stuff, so I'll
Thank
double
God.
check.
You've really been amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so
Oh,
much.
thank you so
Hey guys, can we give her a hand?
Yeah.
All right. To rhythm.
That's called a Bible study class tip.
She didn't think that was funny.
Yeah. She's all, oh, you're one of those Bible studies.
Okay, I need y'all to check y'all's checks, okay? Make sure everything is right. I'm unfortunately human. I make mistakes. Just saying.
Unacceptable.
Did we get to the 200 threshold?
Ah!
Did we get to the threshold we needed to get for the room?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's much. It's like a $2 on like each.
Oh,
So if you wanna let me, I will.
Oh,
No,
We were
like,
told it was like 250 total or something.
No, 200. It was 200. You were right.
Right.
Yeah, that we had to get to 200 to cover the room, but I guess they weren't
She
stressing
said
on
we're
that.
fine, we're fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're fine.
Okay.
Did it again?
Yeah, be quiet.
On my leg. I don't know if it's got on my shoe.
Sorry, man.
It's okay, dude.
I was spilling coffee over here, guys. So real quick, anybody else got any observations, questions? And don't feel like, I know we're rushing. I know. Hold on. I know we're rushing this last part. We're gonna retread a little bit back over because of our introduction in Exodus. Next time we get together, we're gonna have the extra time because we're starting at 6:30. And also, we're only doing chapter 1. So we're doing Exodus introduction and then we're doing chapter 1. So we'll have time to kind of refresh a little bit over this. And also at the end of your study, I do have some personal questions about what did you get from this Genesis study? Like, what did God show you? What's new, et cetera, et cetera. We're not fishing for answers as far as like compliments about the study. That's not what the purpose of that. I'm just curious as to what God spoke into your heart. What did He teach you through this time? That's more, and I just want you guys to kind of do a little heart check and just be like, well, maybe this is something new I learned information-wise, or more importantly, this is something God actually spoke to me as I was doing this study. So, and then you guys can bring that and we can share and talk about that as well. All right, Christy.
Do you need something?
No,
Trying to figure out who has what?
because I know I got one wrong. These ones are right.
Okay.
I might start like just checking out the ones that are right, so I
Yeah.
don't get confused and I can just run back and
Yeah.
get the right checks. Okay, this one's yours.
And I'm going to end the
Because I swear to God, like I did it